Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about freeing yourself as a person. So let's get into it. I feel like society pressures you to live in a way where you can't say what's on your mind. And I feel like in order for society to advance, people have to learn from mistakes and people have to be able to say what's on their mind to learn right from wrong. And I feel like the cancel culture is not going to help that. All that is going to do is bring people down as a whole. And I feel like society can do better than that. And free yourself as a human being. People should be able to say what's on their mind. When someone asks, "How's your day going?" then you should be able to tell them how your day is actually going. You know what I mean? Like, as an autistic person, I always feel like I have to mask who I am. And I know I have other mental illnesses too. Not exactly sure what, but, I really feel like it's important for people to be able to say what's on their mind. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people being offensive is right. I know offensive things, like things that are overly offensive, are not good. Like, I think edgy comedy is good. But, I feel like people should be able to discuss these things instead of trying to cancel each other. And the person who's being offensive should be able to learn, have people talk to them about why they're wrong, and try to understand their perspective just to give them more of a genuine response instead of just saying how wrong they are. I'm not saying that when someone's being offensive, they're doing the right thing. It's obviously, if they're discriminating, that's what I mean. Like, if they're discriminating, that's not good. But I feel like you have to, even if you don't agree, you just have to hear what they say. Because if you want to change someone's mind, then you have to know what part of their thinking is flawed. You have to know what you can say that will make them understand the severity of their thought. You know what I mean? And people need to free themselves as a whole with their ideas, because people always think, oh, this idea is not good because it's not going to be popular, or this isn't good because it's not going to be popular. Don't get me wrong, trends are cool and things like that. There's a lot of cool trends out, but people should be able to be them authentic selves and separate from the group. You want to know why people are able to trend? Like trends like Among Us and Flappy Bird and the Woe, because people were original at some point. That took originality. You have to be your authentic self in order to be happy. Freeing yourself means freeing yourself from your traumas, from your negative thoughts, from what's trapping you from pursuing whatever you want to pursue. And the ways you can free yourself is expressing it, whether it's in a group, to a family member, to a friend. There's always someone out there to listen. And I know from experience that sometimes it does not feel that way. And sometimes I feel like people only listen sometimes when it's a trend to listen. Well, guess what? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying trends are a bad thing. But you guys got to come from a genuine place. You know what I mean? Got to do everything for the right reasons. You want to know why I don't support cancel culture? Because I feel like bullying, it's the modern day bullying. Like, people that want to get their negative energy, push it onto other people with whatever trauma they have instead of trying to discuss it. Like, if you talk something out with somebody and have an actual conversation, learn each other's perspectives, and then you tell them why what they're doing is wrong, and you really try to fix their problem, whatever's causing them to have this thought, so then you can actually change their mind long term, not short term, so when they're not scared anymore, they go right back to what they were doing. And I feel like in order for us to learn as human beings, we have to say what's on our minds in order for us to learn from right from wrong, or it's just going to be a bunch of closeted opinions. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying being a bad person is good. And I feel like when someone's having a bad day, they should be able to say something. And I mean, obviously, if someone else is having a bad day also, they should be able to express it to each other in ways where each other feel comfortable while getting their complete thoughts out and their real thoughts. I just mean a way where the other person doesn't feel disrespected, you know what I mean? But I feel like even in a society where many activists claim to care and all that, I still don't feel the love because I don't feel like it's authentic. People only want to care when it's popular care. I feel like people should care because it's the right morally thing to do and because it's the right way to be as a human being. And people always notice a strong energy in me, like they just know something, you know, like I've always just carried some sort of very unique energy where I was always seen as a source of entertainment, a source of inspiration, a source of just being a very unique individual. And I feel like I have a gift with that. And I feel like the bigger I make it as an entertainer, the more I can make a change. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a typical advocate. I want to be an entertainer that inspires because being an entertainer is my dream. I always loved to entertain people ever since I was young. It was my way of getting out in the social world as an autistic person. It was my way of making people laugh, making people smile, and it made me feel good. You know what I mean? And I don't just want to be like everybody else. I don't want to advocate because that's what other people are doing. When I advocate for something, I want to advocate because I feel like I can inspire and make a difference and make people see things for what they are. You know what I mean? I have no problem with activism, but I do have a problem with cancel culture and cyberbullying. It's the modern day cyberbullying, I'm going to be honest. That's what it is. Call it what it is. And if you really like, even if you disagree with somebody, the problems with society is people can't listen to one another. It's always, oh, if we disagree, we can't be friends. Oh, if we have this disagreement, we can't hang out. Or, oh, you don't fit into what we want. You know what I mean? Even in groups where they're seeming to be inclusive, they're really not inclusive because if you don't agree, then you're done. So, in order for people to truly be able to free their minds and be able to truly be able to have long-term differences in society as a whole, they have to be able to say what's on their mind, whether it's right or wrong. They can learn from that through conversation instead of people trying to ruin everybody else's lives. We all have things that we've done that if it's gotten enough publicity, we all could be canceled. So I really feel like people should put things into perspective. Or if someone else's words could be twisted, or if they were famous, I'm sure they would be canceled. Or, you know, it's the thing of society is you want to know why so much people are suicidal? Because they feel like they're not understood by society. Even when they have friends, or even when they have people, they need to feel like they need to get their thoughts out. You want to know how to end all the problems we have in the world? Having conversations, talking things out, being peaceful. I'm not saying, when I say talk things out, I don't mean you have to be threatening or you have to say things purposely derogatory in a way just to piss some people off. You know what I mean? I'm just saying you gotta you gotta really say what's on your mind, you know? In order to progress as a world, people have to have their own ideas. Because if we all have the same ideas, there would be no new music, there would be no new inventions, there would be no advancements in society if we were all thinking the same. And in order for society to advance, we have to free ourselves as individuals. And it's okay to disagree with one another. People say, oh, it's just a thing of Generation Z. No, this always existed because in some ways it's worse today, and in some ways it's worse back in the day. Society was never perfect, okay? It never was. And I feel like in order for people to move forward, they have to free them real selves. Like people that act tough just to seem like something, They got to free them real selves, because if you put yourself in a fake persona where you act like everything's perfect, or where you act like you have to be some tough person, or some overly happy person, or whatever, if you have to put on some overly exaggerated persona throughout your life just to please others, or just to seem pleasable, or whatever the case is, you're never going to be happy. You have to do what you want to do with your life and what you want to pursue. And freeing yourself is having conversations that need to be had. And freeing yourself is also just being able to get your emotions out. When you're overwhelmed, just being able to say something, hey, I'm overwhelmed. Can I have some help? Or that's I'm honestly going to admit it. I'm afraid to ask for help with things. I'm afraid to get my feelings out due to things like past traumas and anxiety and depression and my autism and things like that, my overload. But I feel like it's a major problem in society. People having to keep everything in. It causes a lot of the problems we have today, and it really messes with people's minds in the short term and the long term. And I just really want to inspire someone with this video, because freeing your mind and freeing your mind can also mean freeing yourself from the negativity. Doing things that sometimes freeing your mind can be different too. Like expressing your negativity in ways where you can turn it into something positive. Like there's people that I've seen on like jail shows where they turn their lives around. Like the cops say, oh, turn it into something positive. Like turn your negative energy into something positive. Like sometimes that's freeing yourself too. I'm not saying medications don't help, but they won't take away your problems. Your problems are still there, just numb some of the feelings, and sometimes helps you in certain aspects, but it won't take away who you are as a person. You gotta do what you gotta do to be your own person as your own self, if that makes any sense. That's all I gotta say, and actually, I got more people, maybe I'll keep going. You gotta live based on your own terms, and you gotta, like, people should be able to have conversations where they say what's on their mind, or not people pleasing, just being able to express themselves, because that's how you move forward. And people should try to consider others' feelings in the process. Like, try not to be rude about it. Try to say things in a way that can help them move forward in their life. And yeah, and each other move forward, because when you have conversations and you can motivate each other to do better in ways that are not mean, society can go much further if people are talked to the right way. Alright, thanks for watching.